So this is Planet Houston. Superman 2, released in 1980 and is directed by Richard Lester, who's also behind such films like The Three Musketeers, The Four Musketeers, Robin and Marian, Butch and Sundance: The Early Days, and Superman 3. And this film is starring the late Gene Hackman, the late Christopher Reeve, Ned Beatty, Jackie Cooper, Sarah Douglas, Margot Kidder, Jack O'Halloran, Valerie Perrine, Susanna York, Clinton James, E.G. Marshall, Mark McClure, and Terrence Stamp. And before I get into the plot synopsis, yes, I do realize that there is a director's cut of this film because the first Superman movie and Superman 2 were being shot back to back, but then Warner Brothers fired Richard Donner about halfway through the production of Superman 2 and then brought in Richard Lester. I know in 2006 they released the Donner cut of Superman 2. I have watched that, and I think it is an atrocity. I grew up on Superman 2. This was my Superman movie. We had the VHS tape, and I wore that thing out. I would watch this thing all the time, along with Batman and Batman Returns. I love the Richard Lester version of this story. I think it has more heart. I think the characters are more likable. I watched the Donner cut version, and Margot Kidder's Lois Lane is basically a murderer. She is testing her theory that she thinks, oh, Clark Kent is Superman, and the way that I'm going to test that is I have this gun, you see, Clark, and I'm going to shoot you nonchalantly, just sitting at my makeup table, smoking a cigarette, probably drinking some liqueur of some kind. And then she does. He takes the bullet, and then we have to have this beautiful love story between the two to the point where he wants to give up his powers because he's so in love with this woman. If I were Superman, I'd be like, you just shot me as Clark Kent, thinking, like, not knowing for sure that I was Superman. What kind of a person are you, Lois? And I know that does happen in the comics at one point, like during the Golden or Silver Age, somewhere in there, but it doesn't paint Lois Lane out to be a great person. In the Richard Lester version, we have a much more adorable and much more loving relationship between the two, and how she figures it out for sure that Clark Kent is Superman. It just makes her a much more likable person. The only thing that I would give the Donner cut Superman 2 over this version is that I like that they had Marlon Brando's Jor-El return, and he is the reason why Superman got his powers back once he gave them up. He allowed himself, his consciousness to be evaporated, basically, and he gave all of his, I guess, dead Jor-El powers to Superman. I don't know how it works, but, you know, Kryptonian technology. It's how it is. And that's how he gets his powers back. I buy that reasoning way more than the reasoning that we get in the Richard Lester version, where it kind of just happens. So final say, in my opinion, the Lester version is the superior version of Superman 2. The Donner version sucks complete shit. Never watch that version ever. Ever. Clark Kent is still trying to develop his relationship with Lois Lane, while Lois Lane is slowly figuring out that Clark Kent may have a secret or two behind those adorable glasses. And then we have Lex Luthor attempting to escape from prison and travel to the Great White North to find Superman's lair and to learn all about his heritage so he can take revenge on him. But speaking of revenge, the main villains of this movie are General Zod and his cronies, who have finally broken free from the Phantom Zone and make their way to Planet Houston to rule. It's definitely the best part of this movie. Terrence Stamp and all of his cronies, everything that they say when they're learning about Earth, and just, Houston, what is this Planet Houston? When Gene Hackman comes in and he's saying all of these blunt things to General Zod's like, why would you say this to me when you know I would kill you for it? Come to me, son of Jor-El! Kneel before Zod! Terrence Stamp as General Zod is great. He's definitely one of my favorites of all time. I love that he came back for the TV show Smallville, and he was the voice of Jor-El whenever he would go to the Fortress of Solitude. But him as General Zod is one of my favorite villains of all time. And in terms of just likability, I like this version of Superman more than Superman the movie. Then again, of course, I have the nostalgia of just watching Superman 2 on repeat, so I don't have as much nostalgia with the original Superman movie as I do with the sequel, but I like this Superman, how he's willing to give up the powers of being a god to be with this woman that he loves. I think there's something very noble and very mature in that. Though it's also very stupid because, I mean, Clark, you gotta realize that eventually something is gonna come around to where the Earth, the planet, is going to need you as Superman defending it. So it's very noble, as I was saying, but it's also kind of stupid, I'll admit. But then when he gets his powers back, we have a hell of a throwdown between Superman and the General Zod cronies. It's really cool. And we had tremendous wire work and visual effects to make him look like he was flying in the first one. And I think it's only amplified here in the second when we have all four of them fighting. Now, when we get to the climax of this movie and how Superman takes out the General Zod cronies, and how just emotionless he is, like, oh yes, I will straight up murder you, and I'm gonna have a little smirk on my face and do a little salute because, gosh golly, I'm Christopher Reeve, I'm Superman, and I'm perfect. I find it interesting that he just straight up murders them in this movie and everyone's fine with it, but then we go to Man of Steel and Superman kills General Zod in that movie from killing just innocent people, and yet people are up in arms about that. Like, people in real life are up in arms against that decision. I just think it's fascinating. But Superman 2 once again proves that Christopher Reeve as Superman is perfect. He's the reason why this character of Superman has made it into pop culture and made it into the zeitgeist. Yes, of course we had the comics. Of course, Golden Age and the Silver Age era of Superman are tremendous, and people in the know and people in the nerddom, they love Superman. Well, probably everyone knew of the name Superman from the George Reeves television show. But Christopher Reeve from the movie world definitely transcended this character into superstardom and is known all over the world, to where you see that S symbol. You can show that anywhere on this planet and the majority of people will know what that represents and who that is. I love this movie so much. It brings me back to my childhood. It brings me back to just an innocent time when Superman, I guess, was not so complicated, where he was just here to do the right thing and to fight for truth, justice. Back then, the American way, but today it's for a better tomorrow, which I like more, definitely. And Superman 2 just makes me extremely happy. It's definitely my favorite of the original Superman movies, and I'm going to be doing a Superman movie ranking next week after, of course, I see the brand new Superman that comes out this weekend. So we'll see where this movie ends up on that list. Might be pretty high, just saying. I'm going to give Superman 2 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
So guys, if you've seen Superman 2, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.